Hi, Randy. Hi, everybody. Oops. A second. Shoot. Better put my headset on. Hello. Is anybody here with me?
Yes.
Hi. Hi, Rod. Hi.
Hello.
Hi. Hi. Randy, are you here? Somebody here that can help me with a tech question, please?
Yeah, what's going on?
Hi. So I'm just wondering, yesterday when I was showing the presentation, I was cranking my neck apparently. Now, what am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to face the audience or can I just go through the slides? Okay. So what view do I have now? Do you know? Main web screen. Okay, and now is my neck crank? I'd like to actually look at the audience. How do I do that and show my slides? Okay, but I can face the audience, right? So now I want to face, so I go this way. No, that's not it.
Yeah, now your head is looking better.
But where am I? I don't see me. Oh. Oh, okay. So this is the way I'm supposed to be doing it. Is that right? Okay. 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 We can see why the viewers. So I would like to be at the podium. Is that possible or not?
That's where I see you right now. So
oh, you do. You
yeah.
see me. I just don't see me.
Yep. And then everybody else should be able to see unless they're zoomed in already on the main screen of the presentation, in which case then we wouldn't see you. But you are absolutely at the podium right now. I see you right there.
Okay, but the only problem is I don't have the presentation in the side. How do I get the presentation back, please? That's the problem. I'm not seeing. It's not working. Go to stage. Okay. This is not. I was here. Now I'm losing myself. I don't understand this. Okay.
So can you face your avatar around just to look like mine right now?
The
Like
problem
I'm
is I
looking
can't find my avatar. That's my challenge.
Okay.
Go to stage. See, I don't see my avatar. You're saying it's at the podium and I don't see it there.
Now, and you just moved back a little bit.
Oh, I can't see it. Oh, now I see myself. Okay, so now I see myself. Okay, now I'm going here. Wow, I expected hundreds and hundreds of people. I hope they're going to come. Okay, so now I have to do what to get my presentation back?
So now, just turn once and look at the screen, and just click on the screen where your presentation's at.
Okay.
Now, do you see that coming up on the right-hand side? And you could just leave that, follow along with your own slides, and move your
Now I see
slides
it.
right from that
Okay,
right-hand
so now
corner.
whoa, now I'm walking into the wall. Okay. Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
I think I'm doing it.
You are. You're making your way to the podium.
I'm not cranking my neck, right? I'm not cranking my neck still, and I just changed the slide, right? Okay. Hi, everybody. We'll get started in a minute. I want to see a bunch of people come in the room. Maybe who's in the room now, since it's a small room so far, could introduce themselves and tell me where they're from. I'm going to go and invite. How do I invite people? Oh, I go to my profile, invite. Got it. Oh, that's cool. Okay, I see. If anybody wants to perk up and say who they are and where they're from, that would be really awesome.
I will start.
Hi, how
My
are
name's
you?
Joya.
Everybody,
Now we're all going to do it.
everybody's going at once.
Go ahead, Karen.
Hi, how are you, everybody? My name is Karen Smith. I'm a real estate agent for 18 long years. I'm in New York City, and I joined EXP June of last year.
Cool. And you're residential, commercial, both?
I do both.
Have you worked with foreign investors before?
I have a funny story. Just a renter came from Japan, and his father was, he was here for school.
Right.
So he ended up renting the place. His father sent the full year's rent, and then the landlord contacted me like 3 months later and said he hadn't seen him. So I emailed the father just to make sure that he was okay, nothing happened to him. And and mind you, he bought like all brand new furniture, everything. He ended up just moving back to Japan.
Wow. I'll tell you what, one of the things that we're going to talk about today, and we're going to have a smaller group than I expected. I was expecting at least 100 people, because this is a very interesting and intriguing topic. But the challenge is that people, I think, aren't aware as much about these events as we would like. So we're going to try to get the message out there. And there are a lot of people that are petrified of foreign investors. I see that Dusty Bates. Dusty, you're from California and you do multifamily, right? You want to say hi?
Sorry. Yeah, I do multifamily up in California. We also do net lease properties like Starbucks and Taco Bell.
Oh, got it. Got it. That's cool. That's cool. I do some work with Wawa, so I understand that model. Cool. And what about you, Joya? Where are you from?
Okay. I'm actually in Idaho right now, but I'm not,
Okay.
from Idaho. I started out real estate in Louisiana, but anyway, I've traveled the world after I got out of real estate. So this is kind of like circling back, but I wish I had had this when I was traveling to all the places that we're in. And, I'm very excited about attracting people from everywhere and building a, huge way for everybody to have fun making money in real estate again.
Making money in
I'm
real
very
estate.
anxious to hear what you have to say about foreign investors for sure.
Okay, well, this is the first of a 4-part series. If you guys have friends that you think would be interested, please invite them to join us. I really want this to be an interactive opportunity for people. I was running masterminds in EXP world for a while. We had like a nice following, but I think that this is my first, and we're going to try to get the message out a little more so that we have hundreds of people in the auditorium to learn about this. Because the reality is that unlike working with people within the US, when you're working with people from other countries, you are always building a loyal customer. And if you show them the right way, you're going to have not only that loyal customer, but all their friends and family and people that are moving here from wherever they're moving from and into Canada as well. So I saw somebody in the chat asking, he's from Ontario, Canada. Guess what? I'm originally from Toronto. I'm a Torontonian. I'm a Toronto girl, always will be. I live in South Florida now. And I'm an international lawyer, and I'm an EXP realtor. I am the chair of international investments for EXP Commercial. And the reason that they asked me to run this committee is obviously because of my background working with, as many of you may have heard of EB5, working with investors from all over the world. And it's really nice to be with EXP because it's so international. And so we have the ability to really build an international network. And in building that, you're going to find people that are going to be asking you questions about, what do I do? How do I deal with this foreign investor? Now, I will say that I will clarify, I don't work for EXP. I have my own company. Yes, I am a realtor just like you guys. My license is with EXP, but I don't work for corporate. And lots of people are constantly asking me questions about things related to like processing payments and processing, source of funds and all of this. Now, if you, to do that with me, it's a separate entity. It's not through EXP, so I can't guide you. And today, what we're going to be covering, I want to be very clear, is not legal advice. So, so it's very important to understand that if you want legal advice, you or your client would have to retain me. I have family in Montreal too, and as a matter of fact, today I've had 2 calls from Montreal because everybody and their brother literally wants to get out of Canada right now. It's kind of crazy. There is an attraction training in the attraction auditorium. Oh, well, I hope that they're going to come over here because I'm going to teach you how to attract talent from other countries by giving them a stream of income that's available through EXP. It's kind of amazing. So thanks for sharing that, Joya. So, and does that attraction event happen every Wednesday at that time, Joya? Oh, okay. So maybe we need to move this meeting to 1 for the next time. I'll let them know because I don't want to compete. So obviously attraction is a very big deal. Everybody wants to attract. I can't even see. Can somebody tell me how to see the whole list of who's in the room? Because I only see up to D.
You have to move that blue thing on the left that goes down and shows you all the names.
Oh, there we go. Got it. Okay. All right. I see some of my friends in here. So thanks for joining us. Okay. So I'm going to get this party started, despite the fact that we only have like 20 people in the room. You're the 20 that are obviously supposed to be here. And this will be a little more interactive than my session was scheduled to be. But yes, intimate chat time. Maybe not quite so intimate, but at least we'll have a chance to get to know each other a little bit, which is great because I'm really all about connections. Now, I will say that since joining EXP about a year and a few months ago, it's been a wild ride. It's been, I'm definitely the go-to about everything international. And I love being that go-to. I love being that resource because the reality is it gives people a chance to get to know who are available to them because far too many people are really petrified of working with foreign investors. And foreign investors are not scary, okay? Foreign investors can be your best friends. So we're going to get through some housekeeping. This is not my slide because I am not an expert at EXP World yet, as you can see. But click on the stage Zoom located at the right of the chat to zoom into the stage. Use the chat in the bottom left-hand corner for questions. If I don't answer your questions, I'll definitely get to them later. Okay, I try to be very responsive, but sometimes I get caught up in whatever I'm presenting. I present quite often. I've already done 2 podcasts today, so I'm a woman on the move, let's just say. Please be sure to have your microphone on mute. If you have a question or ask a question, obviously unmute yourself. Utilize the refresh feature above the presentation screen. Now, can everybody see the presentation? Can you give me a hand? I don't know how to do that. Hands up or raised hand or something? Yes, good. Yes, yes. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Awesome. Okay, great. So we will move on. Disclaimer. You know, the lawyer has to give the disclaimer that everything in this presentation is general information, not to be construed as legal advice, not to be confused with legal advice. If you have specific questions, reach out to me on Workplace, reach out to me by email. I am here to provide support for you as much as I can. If there's a question that's specific or, you know, specific to a specific country or how to deal with certain people and so on and so forth, I'll try to help you. And if I can't help you, I'll give you a resource and we'll figure out some strategies, okay? I have to ask a question. Shanda Laws, does that mean that you're a lawyer, Shanda?
No,
is that
Laws, Laws is my last name.
Okay, I need that last name, so hand it over, okay? All right, so our agenda today is to talk about investing in real estate across borders. Now, I want to make it clear to you, and we're going to have a link at the end, or I want to tell you that I have a podcast. It's called, appropriately, Investing Across Borders. It is on all of the major podcast venues from, you know, iTunes to Spotify to Google. So if you haven't subscribed, please do. I have clients that tell me, Phil, you'll appreciate this. I have a client that tells me that every day he works out to one of my podcasts, whether it's one I'm interviewed on or one where I'm interviewing. So it's really, I'm like, okay, I got to keep the podcast coming because otherwise it's not going to work out. So it's kind of funny. So please do subscribe to it, Investing Across Borders. It's a great podcast. I interviewed an amazing guy today, a good friend, the guy who actually helped me start my podcast. His name is Doug Sandler, and I've had some great guests on there, including Michael Valdez, Megan Kelly, maybe Jim Wong. Some of you might know him. So please do subscribe, and maybe we can have an opportunity to build a chance for you to participate as well. My signature program is How to Immigrate Through Real Estate. So there's a reason I developed this signature program, because I'm a lawyer and I'm a realtor. I'm from Canada. I'm in the US. Everybody asks me every single day, is there a way to use real estate to get a visa? How do you do that? How do you do that? How do you make this happen? Thanks, Laura, for posting that. All of the, by the way, the slides are going to be available, and this is being, I think, recorded, right, Randy? Recorded streamed on YouTube, is that right? All right, perfect, perfect. So and so everything that I do in here is available to you, and we're going to be like sharing everything with you. Sorry, I have a client who's trying to get in. I'm going to just tell her to go commercial auditorium. Okay, so then I'm going to give you some gifts that you can share also with your clients. And I'll tell you a little bit about me because, you know, that's important for you to know. And obviously, I just shared a disclaimer with you. So we shifted the order of that because that's number one for me, because I don't want anybody to say, well, you told me this, because at the end of the day, every single client has to be treated individually, because what fits one does not fit all. And it's really, really important. I can't stress the importance of that enough, but for the fact that if I tell, you know, let's explain it this way. And multifamily, by the way, is a big factor in what I'm doing, because many of my clients want to invest in multifamily. I'm working with some amazing people. Tyler Botroff, I'll give you a shout out. You've been incredible at bringing opportunities to me. We have a great model and a great method that I'll share with you a little bit, because it's my secret sauce. But at the end of the day, each and every client has to be dealt with differently. Some clients, for example, you'll say to them, you need 5 doors. Now, I know a lot of people in the room own 5 doors. They're real estate investors as well as being realtors, okay? It's not just owning 5 doors. It's having 5 doors that qualify for you, that qualify as for the investment, but that also have sufficient cash flow. So we're going to go through that. So just remember, this is not a one-size-fits-all model. And anybody that treats it as such is going to have their clients yelling at them. So please don't. Okay, so these are my 8 steps, the 8 elements of the that are important to remember when you're investing across borders. Any one of them individually is not going to work. All 8 of them together is going to lead to a path that's successful. And this is the path that you need to help your clients to pursue. The first one is location, location, location. Where do you plan to invest? One location or multiple locations? How is that all going to look? When do you want to invest? How do you want to invest? So just like in real estate, every single day we're dealing with location, location, location. Okay? So working with the client to figure out where do you want to live? Where do you want to invest? Because now I'm working with many clients that are moving in from other countries, even within the US, that they want to invest into Mexico. I had an EXPer yesterday that wants to invest in Mexico. Another EXPer I've worked with investing in Honduras, another one in Spain. So where do you want to invest? That's going to dictate the structure of your investment. That's going to dictate the structure of the entity setup and how you protect your assets as you're investing. Second, investment goals. Short-term and long-term goals are really important. Your short-term goals need to coincide with your long-term goals, but without looking at your long-term goals, your short-term goals are going to be kind of useless. So I just got off the phone with another client this morning, or another prospect, I should say. He's Canadian. I work with a lot of Canadians, you know, they tend to like me. So he's Canadian, and he set up a limited liability company. Now, we all know in America, LLCs are great in ways to invest in real estate. But LLCs are not recognized by the Canadian government, so they're treated as a corporation, so they're taxed completely differently. The guy has like a 35-unit apartment complex in Arizona. I'm like, and you have an LLC? I said, has the Canada Revenue Agency come after you? Well, we've only been doing this for 6 months. I go, oh gosh, bingo. I said, so we need to fix that now because the guy wants a visa. Well, we have to create the strategy because that's his long-term goal. His short-term goal was just to invest. Now what's next? The long-term goal. How do you get there? How do you get to that visa? How do you get to that return on investment? You can't just kind of say, oh, let me just fly by night and make the investment. It's not going to work that way. Property types. So these are only a couple of the property types. We'll go through more of them later. And obviously you've got, mixed use is a big one for me right now. I'm looking for mixed use opportunities, large mixed use opportunities that have the option of being converted into various asset class types. So because my clients need them to end my 10 steps to immigrate through real estate. But there's multiple property types that are available. And if you're investing in single family homes, you're not going to get a visa unless you're investing in 40 of them because it's passive. And you want to make sure that if your client wants the visa, they're looking at potential active investments that require you to be there and hands-on. Because most of us are not investing in real estate because we want to run an active business, right? We're investing in real estate because we want to have passive income. So if you want to have passive income, you have to make sure, if you want to have active income, you have to make sure that you transition that passive business into an active business, okay? And that's important when you're coming from another country because you have to show why do you need to have, and the term I'll always use, and my friends in the room will hear me say this all the time, why do you need to have boots on the ground? I don't even wear boots that often, but the reality is if you don't need your boots on the ground in the US or in Canada, why do you need to be there to run your business? So why are they going to give you a visa, right? So anyway, it's important to understand Airbnb is a great model for real estate investors that are considering getting a visa into the US because you can't really passively run an Airbnb because you need to, there's more logistics, there's more involvement and more potential for hiring staff. Okay, number 4, the structure of the US entity choices. By the way, can everybody see these slides okay? Can somebody put up their hand or tell me that the slides are good because they're very small for me. Everybody's
Yes.
good? Good, okay. All right, cool, thank you. So Airbnbs work super well because of the logistics. I moved on to the US entity choice. The US entity choice is really important and is going to be dictated by a few things. First, where are you from? If you're from Canada, it's going to be a different choice than if you're from the UK or Brazil or Israel or Mexico or Hong Kong or Puerto Rico or South Africa or India or all these other countries that EXP currently resides in. So why? So Canadians, which again, I hate to pick on the Canadians, but I am one, so I'm allowed to. Canadians tend to have different rules because of the extent of cross-border interaction. There is so much cross-border business, right? I have an Airbnb ambassador. I mean, they cool. Hit me up. Got it. Thank you. Thanks for keep putting stuff in the chat. I'm trying not to get distracted. This is my first time formally presenting in on a stage, so usually it's I like very interactive EXP things, and I'm very glad not to be hitting the wall. So thank you very much for that. But an LLC is treated differently in Canada if you're living in Canada. There's also going to be a different structure if you're going to be living in the home country. Like a guy yesterday called me, he's in the UK. He doesn't want to move. He wants to have a visa so he can visit his properties. Okay, let's see how that looks. Let's figure that out. But your structure is going to be different if your plan is not to ever, ever, ever get a visa. But I don't always like to say never, ever, ever. Why? Because you just never know. So let's give ourselves options by setting up a structure that allows those doors to stay open, so that you allow yourself the opportunity to potentially move to the US, live in the US. And by the way, you cannot use real estate directly to immigrate to Canada as the path to immigration, but real estate can contribute to that path. Additionally, in a future presentation, we're going to talk about countries that don't qualify for the main visa I'm going to mention in this presentation, the E2 visa, which many of you have heard of. And we're going to talk about how, if you're from a country like Brazil or South Africa or China or India that doesn't have access to that visa, how can you get access to that visa? Because there is a springboard, a workaround, okay? Let's just say this. When you have money, you can pretty much accomplish anything that you want, right? And so if your clients have a bit of money, which most foreign investors do, then we can figure out strategies that will help them accomplish their goal, okay? Next, investing alone or with partners. So one of the elements that's going to play a role in deciding whether you're investing alone or with partners is whether you need access to capital or financing, or do you have, cash in hand? Do you have access to financing independently? Because if you're coming into the US, you probably don't yet have a social security number. Very hard to get credit when you don't have a social security number. So it's kind of a trade-off. So sometimes you may want to start by doing a joint venture. I have many clients that are very successful joint venturers. They offer their joint venture services, so to speak, to others that are embarking on the real estate across borders plan. So if you have clients that are interested in that possibility, we can talk about that. But it's not only necessarily about financing. Sometimes it's about, do you want to learn from somebody who's more experienced? Maybe you have access to an opportunity, but that person has access to, has been trained or has done it 20 times and wants to show you how to do it, wants to give you the tools and help you to learn, because maybe he or she will charge you a fee, or they'll joint venture and benefit from the upside in that, right? Next, how to purchase properties. So there's multiple ways of purchasing properties. These are not exhaustive lists. They're just little opportunities, right? Do you want to buy them outright? Do you want to do financing? Do you want to do subject tos? Everybody knows what they are. They're going to be big in 6 months here. I was hoping they would be big by now, but they're not as big yet because the moratorium continues, and so people aren't out of luck with their mortgages yet as much as they will be, unfortunately. Do you want to buy them with the BRRRR method? Like, what's the way that you want to invest, and how do you want to turn that around? And then you've got your immigration considerations. Is there a visa in your future? Do you need a visa? Do you want a visa? Those are two very different things, because you needing a visa may be so that you can run your business, but wanting a visa may be so that you can run your business or live in the US or send your kids to school here. Think about it. For a lot of foreign nationals that want to send their kids to school in the US or in Canada for that matter, it's almost as expensive to send a foreign student to school as it is to invest in a real estate or other business opportunity and obtain a visa. And this way, at least you have a return on your investment. You're not just giving that money to, Harvard or Yale or whatever. And so a lot of people that invested in EB5, which some of you have heard of, the program where the foreign national invests, it was $500,000 or $1 million. Now it's 900,000 or 1.8 million. And they would invest in a passive investment usually. And then they and their family, their children 21 and under, would receive a conditional green card, which would become permanent. And that student would then become a a resident student as opposed to a foreign student, right? Well, think about it. They would be paying about $200,000 a year to send their foreign student to college, but they would be paying about $50,000 a year to send their U.S. student to college. So they're saving $150,000 a year over 3-6 years. That offsets the cost of the green card by, extensively. So a lot of people that got their visas got them in this way or got them for this purpose. And student visas were very big in the student market. EB-5 solicitations in the student population areas, like for example in San Francisco and New York and places like that, it was just crazy. So anyway, that was a very big deal. So I see, Vita, you made it in. I'm sorry I couldn't help you. I'm not the tech expert. So I'm sorry, wait a minute, I went too fast. Okay, how to choose team members. We're going to go through these team members in a little bit. Team members are the single most important part of this process, because if you don't have the right team, you're going to fail. If you don't have the right team, you're not going to know where, how, what, why, the structure, the legal entities, all of that. You're just not going to know. Okay, critical professional team. Here we go. 1, you've got your banking and currency exchange. Without a bank account, you're kind of nothing, right? You've got your legal team. Hopefully I'll be on that legal team. And by the way, just so you understand, I am kind of the quarterback on this whole team. So I'm going to pull all your team members into your team for you, for your clients, so that they don't really have to think. Because a lot of these foreign nationals, they don't want to have to think. They don't want to have to worry. They just want to come in and do their thing and get their visa and be done with it. They don't, I had a guy yesterday, he said, I'm semi-retired. He's 44. I'm a little jealous, but not really that jealous because I'd be a little bit bored. I love working. Can you tell? But so anyway, he's 44, he's in Britain, and he said, well, I want to get an E2 visa, but I don't want to work. Okay, well, you're going to have to do something because E2 requires you to direct and manage the business. So how are you going to do that? Well, I don't know. You have to figure that out for me. I'm like, okay, yeah, that's interesting. So but basically what he was saying is, I'm willing to pay you whatever it takes, just get the job done for me. So that's great, but you still are going to have to work at the end of the day, buddy. I can't make you, I can't change the law for you. So anyway, due diligence and deal analysis. So each of the potential deals that comes across our desk, as Tyler will tell you, he's brought me many deals and I have to look at them and analyze them and figure out if they make sense for the client. Sometimes the deal, by the time we figure it out, is no longer available. Okay, we just have to move to the next deal. But you have to do your due diligence and analyze each prospective deal before you actually proceed, because otherwise, what good does it do to buy a property, right, Vita, that doesn't fall into your portfolio and or your profile? And so it's that the due diligence is a super critical piece, and we have due diligence experts on our team. Tax, financial, and accounting professionals. So you don't want to just have somebody that looks at US or Canadian or whatever real estate, taxes. They have to look at both sides. They have to understand both sides. You need an international tax advisor, international specialist, international everything. It's really, really important to grasp that it's a comprehensive service. It's not just like, oh yeah, here's how you do it in the US. Let's set up an LLC. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realize that that's not going to work in Canada. It's really important. Next, logistics experts. So sometimes you're going to need to deal with a lot of logistics. For example, who's going to manage the properties? Who's going to run the properties? I like to say that a logistics person is the first hire that a lot of my clients that are investing in real estate in multiple locations will bring in, because they're going to help with the logistics management and making sure that it makes sense for you to be where you are, running the business, and managing your properties. Okay, but in the meantime, we're going to need a logistics expert to help us create the structure that allows us to make the investments to potentially obtain the visa. Next is financing and capital advisors. So do we need financing? How much? Is it commercial? Is it residential? How does that look? What's involved? These people come, I have partners that help with commercial, and look, we all do. We have partners in EXP, we have affiliates in EXP, but there are also others that will work with more of the foreign national investor, because foreign nationals are non-conforming loans, they're out of the norm, and we have to bring opportunities to them that are out of the norm. We have to like once you go over 5 units in a multifamily building, it becomes a commercial property. It becomes a commercial unit. So when it becomes a commercial unit, it's actually easier for a foreign national to qualify for the investment because they look not only at the investor's credit, which is going to be minimal because they're from another country, but they also will look at the returns and the cash flow of that property itself to help you to build your portfolio, and they might be more willing, they actually usually are more willing to grant the financing to you, even though you don't have a credit score in the US yet, okay? And that can actually help you build it as well. Then real estate professionals. Well, I think we all know, since we're here, that you need real estate professionals because hopefully my clients are not doing this and your clients aren't either with people that aren't professionals. There's a lot of off-market deals, but there's also a lot of BS out there, and you want to wade through that and make sure that you're helping your clients to understand the importance of working with a professional team. And last but not least is cross-border experts. So this could be all of the kind of uncategorized professionals that will help you in the process. For example, maybe you're having, a mover or a relocation specialist. And of course, yesterday I know was the 4th class for the relocation training in EXP world. But it's still important to be able to look at the other professionals that are involved in the process of helping you to make the move and make the transition and go from point A to point Z or Z, okay? So that's the story. So we'll move on to the next slide. I'm going to stop after this next slide and take some questions before I move on to the actual investment kind of profile. So these are the real estate investment types and the main ones, and the only one that won't ever qualify you for a visa or qualify a client for a visa is a REIT. Why? Because a REIT is truly passive. It's a real estate investment trust. In and of itself, it's a passive investment. Now, if you are the developer of REITs or you're creating REITs or you're funding REITs or so on and so forth, and you're selling them and that's your business, then that could qualify. But the REIT on its own as an investment type won't qualify if you're investing in a REIT. Okay, so you've got vacant land, residential, multifamily apartments, commercial, industrial, and retail. And almost all of these will qualify potentially for a visa if that's the path the client wants to take. Now, please understand that even clients that don't want a visa should be consulting with professionals that understand the importance of global, cross-border and global professional advice, because without the right structure in place, they could be paying through the nose again to their tax revenue agency, to legal matters that can be avoided, all kinds of stuff. So just really important to understand that it doesn't necessarily mean just because you create a strategy that you want to move to the US or Canada, but that you've at least taken the time to build that strategy and understand the importance of a strategy. I don't work with any client that doesn't work with me or have a strategy in place. So let's stop for a second and take any questions, if anybody has any questions so far. No questions?
Well, I'll have a question. It's easier than chat. Anyway,
Sure.
Does this work the other way around too? At some point in your series, will you tell us how to be able to get, residency in other locations?
So I'm not going to specifically talk about getting residency in other locations, but I will be talking about investing outside of the US, yes. So the great locations for that are Portugal and Singapore and Grenada and Turkey. But that's not really the topic, the focus of my four-part series, but we will talk about it to some extent, okay? I'm just not an expert at getting residency in those other locations. What I am an expert in is connecting you with the people in those locations that can help you achieve your goals there. Because I've been in this space for so long that I have connections literally all over the world that are handling these matters for people that are investing in other countries. Okay? Any other questions so far?
No.
Sorry,
Pardon?
my daughter with you. Are we going to talk about like EB5 and
Yeah, so we're not going to
here?
talk about EB5 today. We're going to talk about EB5. I don't remember which of the series, but we are going to talk about EB5 extensively. We'll talk about it a little bit here, but today's was mainly about how to immigrate through real estate, and EB5 doesn't really offer that path because EB5 is requires the creation of 10 new jobs. So if they're investing passively in a third-party real estate project, then they can get an EB5, which is a conditional green card, which eventually leads to residency. But they can't use real estate generally unless they're building a huge real estate business to secure an EB5 because you need the 10 jobs.
All right, cool. Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else? All right, so this slide is really the slide that you guys are going to want to know about. And actually, I just realized that I probably should share with you, and I'll do this next time or I'll do it after. I have a table, which Dusty, you just reminded me about this. It's a table of the 4 main visas, the 4 main business immigration visas, which are the L1, the E1, the E2, and the EB5. And the table says, what is needed, where do they come from, how do you do it, who applies, what's required, the amount of money, changes, specifics, and so on. So I'll be happy to share the table with you. Just ask me in Workplace. I also have a book which I can share with you. Just give me a second and I'll find it, and I'll give you a link to my book in the chat. It's actually my book. It's the #1 bestseller in 2017. It's called Finding Your Silver Lining in the Business Immigration Process. I think it's like $10, and it's a great tool for people that are interested in or already working with. It's not going into the chat. Okay, there we go. That are already working with, what do you call it, with foreign nationals. But except now, is it going? I'm not really sure, guys. Something is up here with the chat. So when the chat clears, I will send it. I'll send it, or I will also send it later because I'm not seeming to want to.
Lauren, if you're not able to send it in the chat, if you want to send it to me in Workplace, I can copy it over here into the chat. Lauren, if you're talking, we cannot hear you.
Oh, well, there's a reason you can't hear me. My microphone was off. Sorry.
There we go. Okay.
I just sent it to you in the chat. That was Amy, right?
It was, yep.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Get it sent over. You're welcome.
All right, thank you. I don't know why, but my chat is somehow not working. So, like I said, this is not my sweet spot. I can help you with all your foreign investors, but if you ask me to help you with tech and EXP world, forget about it. And yes, I do have an official group. It's called the International Investment and Immigration Group in Workplace. And I do have, I don't necessarily have, well, we work with many Chinese agents. Are you Chinese, Dusty?
No, but I've got a really good one from KW Commercial that I've worked with that would be excellent for this.
You mean Spencer?
Her name is Sunny.
Okay, great. Well, please make an introduction. I'd love to meet her. Love working with my colleagues, and for sure, always looking for good people especially that speak languages that I certainly don't speak. So, Amy, I that's the podcast. Is that what I sent in the? Is that what I sent? Yeah. See, I sent you the chat. Isn't that weird? Okay, something is definitely going on with my chat. I'm putting the book in.
Yeah, you right-clicked, which copies the whole thing. What link are you trying to send?
Now the right thing is in the chat, at least in the Workplace chat. Here, I have no idea how to get rid of everything. So
that's okay.
We're just going to leave it and let Amy do it.
Absolutely. No worries. Here
Next
you go.
time, I promise I'll be even better than today. Okay, which is not a high bar to meet, but anyway. All right. This is the crux of this, okay? Can real estate investments qualify for a business visa, specifically E2s? Now, what we should have done, and usually I'm doing this as part 2 of a 2-part series where we talk first about the visas, is tell you what the heck is an E2 visa. Are there many people in this room that have actually worked with E2 visa applicants before? Anybody? Okay, so let's talk about what is an E2 visa. An E2 visa is a treaty investor visa. It is available to those that are from certain countries that are investing in the US. They are making a substantial investment in a non-marginal business. Great. What does that mean? Okay, so there's no definition. Like in EB5, the beauty was it said you need to invest $500,000, now 900,000 in a targeted employment area, and you need to create 10 jobs, and then you get your green card. In an E2 visa model, there's no such thing as those numbers. Substantiality is determined based on the type of investment. So in real estate, it's that much higher of a threshold. Why? Because you're getting a tangible asset in exchange for your investment. They don't want you to have a tangible asset. They want your money to be at risk. USCIS, I'm talking about as they. Okay, so because of that, your investment threshold is so much higher. I generally require my clients to invest out of pocket $250,000 into a project that is around $1 million, 800,000 to $1 million. Now, that's not a hard and fast rule again, and you still are going to need the 5 or more doors, and you still are going to need to qualify the business and show cash flow. But it's all about all of these elements working together because it's a substantial investment in a non-marginal business. Marginality is that you aren't going to be just supporting yourself and your family or replacing a job. You're actually going to be impacting the economy, and you're going to be hiring people, and you're going to be bringing value to the regional and national economy and the market, okay? So that's where the business plan comes in, to write a strong business plan around the business model that you're developing. So business visa, E2, based on treaty with many countries, but not all. For example, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, Dubai, Venezuela, Vietnam. A lot of these countries do not have access to the E2 visa. There's no treaty between the US and Canada. Australia is good, yes. Okay. So what that means is they have to find another avenue, which could be a jump start or a piggyback on a visa or a residency through Grenada or Turkey, which I also am going to talk about in a future event. What that means is you buy your citizenship, literally buy your citizenship, usually through real estate investing in one of those countries, if your client's from China, which a lot of our clients are, and they buy that citizenship, and it then gives them a springboard to an investor visa in the US. And for a lot of people, it's a cheaper and quicker way than going through the US. Why? Because if you wait for an EB5, for example, the wait time, especially for a Chinese, is literally forever. It's 14 years right now, okay? So if you want to get a visa to the US, you don't want to wait 14 years. And even if you apply for that EB5 from a different country, you're going to have to wait in that country until that EB5 is processed, okay? So you need some way to get in the meantime, so you may need an E2 and an EB5 strategy. But let's not talk about that any further here. Let's not belabor that. Let's talk about how can you use real estate investments to qualify for a business visa. Okay, so here's how. You must be actively involved in running a business. You can't be passively involved. The business can't be marginal. In order to pass that test, you can't just own a rental property or hold title. You can't just have an asset holding company model like a REIT, right? You can't do a buy and flip model. The flipping model is, unless you're doing so many, that you're qualifying it as a business. You have to be involved. If you're just buying and flipping a couple of properties a year, you're never going to qualify for a visa because these are passive. They're not directing and developing the business, so you won't meet the management test. Okay, so for those that are interested in flipping, what I would recommend to them is look at the possibility of investing in, let's say, a property management franchise or a different type of franchise that complements the business that you're looking at. Maybe you have an electrical background. Maybe there's an electrical company. Maybe it's an interior design. We don't know, but we just have to consider options. So for a lot of my clients, even if they're investing in real estate and that's their primary goal, I'm still going to look at a franchise because the franchise is often a quicker way in, even if it's a, excuse me one moment. Even if it's an inexpensive franchise. Why? Because immigration understands franchises. They don't understand real estate, or they frown upon it. So sometimes it might be easier. I have many clients that I push them or encourage them, not push, I don't push my clients, right, Beta? I don't push clients, but I encourage them to, yes, but it's better, David Cohen, who's not related to me, to speak to me about the franchises that will help you to qualify, because there are certain ones that will help and certain ones that won't. So yeah, David Cohen. I think you're from LA. I think we've spoken before. So Cohen, by the way, is like Smith. So just so you know, everybody asks me, are you related to this Cohen and that Cohen? I'm related to some, but not all. So back to this. So franchises are great. There could be a pool service franchise, a landscape franchise. And the thing is that all it's doing is it's just paving your path a little more quickly. Ah, yes, David, I knew we'd spoken before. Okay, South African in the house. There you go. All right, cool. So is everybody following this now? I know you're going to have questions about this. How can real estate investments qualify? Sometimes QSR, quick service, fast. Yes, I know what QSR is very well. And sometimes they can qualify for sure. The key is, I'm going to just go back again. If in doubt, ask. Don't guide your clients. Come to me, because you want to make sure that whatever you guide them on makes sense and is going to get them on the path that they want to go on, right? So better to ask the question, okay? I don't charge for questions to EXPers unless they're requiring legal advice, and I'll try to give you a quick and dirty answer, okay? So to qualify, the real estate business or investment could involve the BRRRR method. It could involve managing multiple rental properties. So you don't even have to own them. You can be a property manager. You can buy a property management franchise. You can develop a property management company. As long as you're investing a substantial amount and it's not in a marginal business, right? Managing commercial properties, love that. Converting commercial properties these days, love that. Airbnb model, great, wonderful. Mobile homes, definitely. Self-storage also works. Managing multifamily properties. There you go, Dusty. It's good to sit in the front row. I can't miss talking to you, right? So managing multifamily properties and owning them is great. What is not in the marginal? What is the not in the marginal business? Okay, so let's talk a minute about marginality again. So we all know marginality means kind of questionable, right? Like when you're running a marginal business, and a lot of us during COVID certainly had businesses that were very successful. A lot of clients in the E2 space that had visas were running successful businesses, and suddenly COVID hit and their business became marginal, which means that they're not really turning a profit. They're barely supporting their family. They're not impacting the economy, and they're not hiring people. That's a marginal business. If you're hiring people, you're impacting the economy, you're seeing cash flow, you're seeing a return on your investment, and you're making an economic impact, it's not a marginal business. I hope that helps. And it is on a case-by-case basis. So this, in Florida, this becomes particularly important when you're managing businesses and developing real estate, that it's not just seasonal, because a purely seasonal business is going to have trouble qualifying as well. If it's seasonal, then what are you doing in the off season to build your business? If you have a complementary business in the off season, it could and might just work. Okay. Now this slide, which is probably too small for you guys to see, and you're probably like, oh, I want to see that, is talks about the 10 steps to immigrate through real estate. And this is my signature program that we developed because people wanted a one-stop shop, kind of like a quick and easy way to get immigration status through real estate investing. And I developed this basically to cover that. And it's my, let's say, my signature program, the slide I can make available to you. I haven't even like really formally launched it yet, but it talks about all the steps. How much do you want to invest? How many doors? Have you spoken to a cross-border tax advisor? Have you spoken to an asset protection attorney? What's the ideal structure to set up? Who are the professional consultants and service providers that you need? Where are you getting the money from? Do you need financing? What's your business plan? The first 8 of these 10 steps apply to anybody that's investing in real estate across borders, whether or not they need a visa. Numbers 9 and 10, the legal guidance and the petition and the visa itself and post-visa work are applicable specifically when you're getting a visa. So it's really 8 steps to investing across borders and 10 steps to immigrate through real estate. So again, this is kind of mutually beneficial for either of those models. That's right, Lily. They want to make sure that you're making money regardless of seasonality, and they also want to make sure that you're running a business continuously regardless of seasonality. So if you're just coming to run a business for 6 months, why do you need a visa, right? So this is particularly applicable to like a lot of Canadians that are snowbirds here, and they try to run a business, and you know, that's challenging. You're not really supposed to run a business. There's advantages of helping these people get visas as well that go well beyond just the visa itself, because they get a social security number, they're going to be able to open a US bank account, they're going to be able to build US credit and have access to more deals going forward. And they're also going to have a different place at the table, because once you have a visa, you have some level of status. Okay, I personally have been through this whole process myself. I am from Canada. I was on an H-1B. I was on various visas. I had a green card. I became a citizen. I have an ex-husband that was deported on the way back from a honeymoon, but that's another story that you can get in my book, so we won't talk further about that. I wish I could hear people laughing in the audience because they're like, what? Your husband was deported? What? What'd you talk about? But yes, it's true. That is actually a fact. He was deported. What is an immigration quarterback? There you go. Thanks, Karen. It was not sad. In retrospect, it was the best thing that ever happened, thank God. And if not for it happening, I wouldn't be doing what I do today. So there is a silver lining, which is part of why my nonprofit is called Find Your Silver Lining, and my book is called Finding Your Silver Lining in the Business Immigration Process, and I'm all about the silver lining. And my colors are purple and silver. That's why I'm wearing this purple little suit. I wish I had a purple suit like that, but you know, I'm sitting here, nobody even knows what I could be in my pajamas for all anybody cares. There you go. Thanks, Joya. So
everything happens for a reason.
Pardon me?
Everything happens for a reason, right?
You are so right. You are just so right. I can't even tell you at the time how crazy it was. And I was totally silent about this story until about a year ago, when people were like, you've got to tell the story. That's what makes you who you are. And I'm like, okay, all right. So now when people interview me, it brings home the whole reality that, you know, this happened to me. I've been there. The reason I built my business was so nobody would ever have to go through that again, at least not on my watch. So this is a little bit about what an immigration quarterback is. I've coined the phrase, so to speak, for myself. I am an immigration quarterback. I help people manage this whole process, coordinate all of the moving parts, oversee everything. I have a couple of clients in the room, and they'll tell you that I don't let them do, like I even help them get into this room, and I don't do that very well. So, you know, I'm really become my client's right hand. I take it very seriously. I love being that part of their journey and seeing them through to the end very successfully. There are many clients, and bear this in mind, I think I mentioned it, but there are many clients I work with who never plan to live in the US, but there's advantages like that, getting that social security number, getting that bank account. There's advantages of getting the visa, having it in your passport. So guess what? You don't have problems when you're going back and forth across the border. That's a big deal, no matter what border. It could be a pond border, it could be a land border, it could be a, you know, water border, whatever. Pond being the Atlantic or any other ocean, could be South America, whatever it is. The less problems you have, the better. And this is important as EXP is continuing to build its global footprint, there's a lot of opportunities. There's a lot, thank you, Shonda, for buying the book, thank you. There's a lot of opportunities to give these people that are living in countries that are not as fortunate as those, Canada and the US, although these days Canadians seem to really want to get out because they're done with lockdown. So I'm a very popular girl these days as the Canadian Whisperer. But places like Mexico, places like South Africa, places, pretty much everywhere in the world where you want options. And what does money buy us? Money buys us options. And so for people that have means, let's get them a visa so they have a 5-year passport to options. Because most of the time, these visas are for 5 years. There is no residency requirement attached to these visas. I have a colleague who's a lawyer from Ontario, living in New York State. He does these visas. We work on some cases together, okay? And he has been in Spain since the pandemic started. Now, if he had a green card, he would not be able to do that because there is a residency requirement attached to having a green card. However, with a E2 visa or an E1 visa, which is based on trade, we can talk about that. But E1s are not great for real estate investors because they're based on trade with your home country. And generally, when you're a real estate investor, you're focused mainly on the destination subject country, right? So, but with these visas, there is no residency requirement. There's actually a lot more freedom, and you don't necessarily become a U.S. tax resident, which is a big deal for a lot of people with significant net worth. So that is my story. Here is, what are your next steps? Okay, to find out how your clients, or it should be how you and your clients can qualify for immigration through real estate, download my ebook. There's a link, and I think that this will also be sent to you, or maybe Amy's putting it in the chat. I don't remember, but I'll be happy to. There's an ebook. It's called How to Invest in Real Estate Across Borders. I am happy to set up a consult with everybody from EXP, but not your clients, because I do charge for consults. So please respect that. And if you want to set up a time to speak with me, I'm happy to give my time to everybody that's with and from EXP. And please subscribe to our podcast. I think that Amy already put the links, or Laura did, in the chat. And I'm just going to turn over to my bio, which actually mentions the fact that my ex-husband was deported on the way back from our honeymoon. And as I say, I'm originally from Toronto. I'm licensed in Canada and the US as an attorney, and I'm a realtor down here in Florida. And I am not a production realtor. I'm every realtor's best friend because I'm a really great referrer. So if you want some great referrals and you have some opportunities for me, I would love to help you with those and see if they fit my clients' needs. Especially, like I said, right now I'm looking for convertible or mixed-use spaces that are available for my clients to build out some pretty amazing, it's a pretty amazing model. Vita, you want to say hi? I don't know if you're too shy. Do you know how to say hi? This is I invited one of my clients in, and this is her first time in EXP world. Do you know how to just turn on your mic? Putting her on the spot. So what do you mean by final map of interest? Dusty, you want to speak up? I can't really give the exact details because this is my secret sauce, but what we are building, and there's only one person in the room who knows about this specifically, what we are building is a model where, well, two maybe, where we have a mixed use facility for clients that allows them to access the visa, invest in real estate, and build a real business and really impact the world. And it's super exciting, like impact their region. It's a really exciting model. It's something that is kind of up and coming. It's kind of like an insulated, COVID-safe, mixed-use, multifaceted facility. It's brilliant. I didn't come up with the model, but I just realized that the model was amazing for real estate investors across borders. So, any questions? No questions? When is the next class?
Can you just tell us what you're looking for? What are you looking for exactly?
Yeah, I'm looking for, so it's a large space, like maybe 20,000 square feet, that is either mixed use or has the potential to be mixed use. Oh, just bring me all the clients that you want, Lily. I'll answer that in a moment. And we want to be able to build it out, or it could be built out. I mean, there's a lot of options. Ideally, we would like somebody that's open to owner financing. We are looking in Florida and other locations. Florida, like Atlanta, parts of California, but they're expensive. Parts of Texas for sure. Border states. I mean, you name it. Border states to Canada. By the way, when I did my citizenship test, this is hysterical. One of the questions on my citizenship test was name 4 states that border Canada. I almost fell over in my chair. I'm like, what? Are you kidding me? It was hysterical. I thought that was so funny. So needless to say, I passed. All right, how can I find you clients? So my clients are literally from all over the world. You bring me a client from anywhere or from the US that wants to invest outside of the US, and you can guide them on the real estate side, and I'm going to guide them on everything else. I'm going to work with you as your partner to vet the real estate as they're investing in real estate in the US. So we figure out referral fees and, you know, how we collaborate and all of that. And, you know, I really involve, I'm very proud to be with EXP because it's so international, and I would love to, you know, involve you in this process as we go forward. Any other questions? The next class is the classes are going to be the last Wednesdays of the month, but I think I'm going to switch it over to 1 p.m. Amy, if that's possible, 1 Eastern, because I don't want to conflict with the agent attraction meeting. So Amy's the boss, I think. I don't know. I don't know who's the boss. I'm certainly not the boss. Thank you. Thanks, Amy. As long as I'm out of here by 2:15 on any given day Eastern, because that's my time to go to carpool. Yay. Thank you, Craig. All right, guys, everybody, and if you have any questions, I already see some notes in the
Lauren, I
workplace.
had one question.
Yes, who's this, please?
This is Mel C. Bipsha, commercial agent here at EXP out of California.
Hi. Where are you
My first time
from?
here. Great presentation. Thank you so much. I learned a lot
Thank
today.
you, but where are you from? Where's your accent from?
I'm Albanian, but I lived in Greece too. I speak Albanian.
Oh, I
Greek.
spoke to you, I think. I spoke to somebody from Albania that lived in Greece. Was it you or somebody else?
Yeah, we spoke briefly. I was
Okay. How can I help you?
Oh, no, nothing. I was just asking a general question on
Sure.
who's gonna be your international ideal client? Let's say if I
One
know.
with a lot of money.
Okay.
Okay, so it's an ideal client would be somebody that's looking to expand their portfolio and profile, potentially have a home, live and or work, run a real business in the US, and has the desire to potentially maybe live here as well. Not in the mafia is a good start, right? We don't want in the mafia.
I know we have a lot of Albanians like that.
Yeah. Well, I listen, I'm in South Florida. There's a lot of people that are connected with various mafias around the world here. So yes. And I'm originally from Toronto, so a whole other story altogether. So I really, an ideal client is anybody that you think would be interested in considering how to look at this opportunity and potentially grab a visa as a part of it. Visas don't have to be a part of it, because my goal, so I just started a 6-month mentorship program, I don't know, like 2 weeks ago, and I decided that my goal was to have 6 clients. I'm signing up my 6th client today, and I knew I needed to do something, because the challenge is so many people are interested in investing across borders, and they start the investment process and they do it wrong, or they're thinking about a visa and they don't know what to do. And so I needed some way to transition them from the thought process of you bringing the client to me and me helping create that model and strategy to the actual implementation process. So, so I'm full with my 6-month mentorship program clients, but they're 6 months, so there's always going to be turnover. So, anyway, that's the story there.
Thank you. Yeah.
Anybody else?
I'll make sure I contact you. Thank you.
Absolutely. Anybody else, or should I close out the meeting? Speak now or forever hold your peace. All right, guys. Well, thanks again. My contact information is on the slide. Laura shared the slides. I think Laura shared the slides in the chat. And again, if you somehow didn't get them, connect with me on Workplace. I'll be happy to share them with you. Please bring your friends and You know, it's a great way. You could also issue guest passes. This is a great way to bring people an agent attraction model if you want to issue guest passes to people to learn about this, because there's a lot of people all over the country that are like, how do I deal with foreign nationals? I don't want to touch them. I'm afraid of them. I don't know what to do. What does it mean? How do I deal with it? So use me and abuse me. I'm here for you, okay? Thank you, everybody. I'm going to close out the session. Again, if you need me, just reach out.
Question.
Thank you.
Hello, Lauren. I have a question.
Yeah. Who's
Sorry
this,
to come at the very last minute.
It's okay.
I'm not afraid of the international investor at all. I am obviously I have an accent.
Where are you from?
I am actually from Mexico,
Okay.
but I just recently came from Germany. And,
oh, okay. Oh, wow. Germany's going to definitely be. I would guess Germany's going to come on board soon.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I would think so, because Germany is a big deal. Yeah.
But because I used to be in the oil and gas, I have
cool.
a very big network in LinkedIn of CEOs and international people overall, right?
Right.
And I was thinking,
the people I want to know, yeah.
Oh yeah, I had the connections. But my question is, how do I know that a certain person actually has a lot of money? You know, like for example, like you said, if that person is going to come here, that person has to invest at least 50% if the investment is $1 million. You know, I mean,
no,
how can I
not true. No.
Okay.
So they have to invest at least, and it's not a hard and fast rule. Okay, Lily? It's just my rule. My rule is I want to see you have $250,000 to invest in $1 million worth of real estate at least. And this is not for you and your family to live in. This is for you to build a business. Now, anybody that's going to be investing in real estate and isn't ready to invest $1 million probably shouldn't use this model, because it just doesn't make sense. If they only have $100,000 to invest, let's buy a business for them. And they can invest in real estate as part of the business plan, but it's not your main business because you don't want your visa to be dependent on that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that definitely makes sense. How would you recommend, I mean, what question can I ask him just so I can figure out if they have money or not? You know, it's because
you ask them what I would just ask them what their budget is for investing and what their goals are. Are they looking for a visa? Like from Mexico and Germany, both are easy countries for me. Both have E2s available. So Mexico is a shorter reciprocity. So I forgot to mention that most of these visas are 5 years, but then there's reciprocity with each country. So Mexico, I think, is 2 years. Germany is 5. Canada is 5. UK is 5. Okay. But you have to look. It's critical that you look at, you know, what are their goals? What are their short and long-term goals? And to be honest with you, okay, and this is not for me to pat myself on the back, but the reality is, you're going to bite off your nose to spite your face without putting them in touch with me to set up a consult with them. Now, I do charge for the consults, but it's $197. So for $200, you're going to be able to not bang your head against the wall trying to figure it out. And let me tell you another thing. If they're not willing to pay that $200, they're probably
they will.
Right. Okay. So,
definitely
and it's not about me charging. It's just about, like, I needed to create a bar of entry, because if they're not willing to pay that, they shouldn't be looking at this investment, because they're like, well, this one gives it to me for free and that one gives it to me for free. Yes, they all do that for free, but you know what? They're all giving you wrong information. So who does that help?
You are an expert. That's the difference.
I would certainly hope by this point that I am. Yes.
Yeah. And for how long is the meeting? It's like 1 hour, 1 hour.
No, it's a half an hour. For $197 at the half-hour meeting. But it, you know, it could be 10 minutes. They can get their answers. Like, it just depends on how quick they are. And and for a lot of clients, if they want that that consult, I ask them to send the information in advance. Like, I have a woman today. They came to me through LinkedIn, and it's a mortgage broker and a realtor. So guess what? I'm going to talk to them about EXP. Imagine that. But anyway, it's a mortgage broker and a realtor in Canada. They have some property in the US, and they have some questions. So they paid for the half hour, but they gave me a whole like 25,000 word summary. So I'm like, okay, that takes my time to review, right?
Exactly.
So I will tell you this: I like to over deliver more than I like to charge people.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Of course.
Hi,
So I'm going to close out now, and I'm going to thank everybody, and thank you, Vita. I'm glad you could make it in here, sweetheart. And I'm here to help. So use and abuse me as much as you want. Okay, don't tell anybody I said that, but please do. And I'm glad Craig's not in the room because he would have liked me saying that too. So thank you, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here. I'll see you again. And workplace is our home. Okay. Thank you.